Have you ever thought about buying a home with your best friend or maybe with another family member? In today's video, I'm going to talk about ways and things to consider in today's real estate market that is a strong seller's market, how to get your foot in the door and to at least begin building equity by buying your house with maybe a friend or another family member. Hey, Laura Gallen here with Mountain Prairie Living, empowered by ERA Shields, and welcome to my channel where I answer questions about the home buying and selling process and information about today's real estate market. So glad you're here. So on today's video, I'm going to talk about the thought process and the things that you should consider if you want to buy a home with a good friend or maybe a significant other that you're not married yet, or maybe a family member, but you just want to get your foot in the door, and doing it on your own has been a little challenging, saving for the down payment. Why not put two people together and try to get your foot in the door? So that's what we're going to talk about today. As you can imagine, buying a home with somebody that you're not married to, that maybe is just a friend, and maybe you will be married in the future. Or maybe it's just two family members going in on an investment property because you don't quite have enough for one piece of property on your own, but you thought, well, you know what, we can blend together. So it's a great way to get in the market. In fact, we're seeing a large uptick of people buying homes with their friends. So the next question is, can I get one loan on that property with two separate entities or parties? Could it be two family members? Could it be two best friends? Could it be two friends? Yes, you can. Where it gets into the details is really when it gets down to title and how you hold title and how you're going to distribute the ownership of that home. So if you'd like to know more about the variety of ways that you can take title, the 5 most popular, then check out this video here to go over the various ways that you can hold title and how they break down the ownership as well as right of survivorship. So if you're going to buy with family or friends or even a significant other that you're not married to, there are definitely some things that you should do before you go under contract. The most important thing you should do is draw up a property cohabitation agreement. And I really suggest that you go to a lawyer to have this drawn up. Here are some items that your cohabitation agreement should include. It should define the type of ownership. If it's joint tenancy, it's automatically 50-50. If you do a tenants in common, you're going to define who gets what percentage of that property value. Who's responsible for what payments? You've got the utilities, you've got cable, you maybe have landscaping or HOA fees. You need to define that information. You need to find out, what's the buyout agreement? What if someone decides to move out, or one person decides to keep it and the other one's going to take that equity that they built, maybe one of the purposes why you went in together, take that equity and move it into their own home finally. What is the buyout agreement that you are agreed to before you go under contract? What happens if somebody gets a job transfer? How are you going to handle that? Is one person going to continue paying on it and keep the equity building in an agreement? Can they even afford to do that? What if somebody needs to move out just because they just have to? What happens to personal property that you've accumulated together? So maybe you're a couple that were hoping to get married and it didn't go that way. What are you going to do with the personal property that you bought with regards to the beds, the televisions, the couches and the furniture? You need to define that. How is that going to be divided if that happens? What about a dispute process? Are you going to use a mediator in that situation? What about the exit strategy? So you've lived in it for 2 to 3 years and you decide you've built up enough equity, and in our current market, that could be 20+% equity, where you have enough equity now if you were to refinance or sell that property that you could get out and take those proceeds and buy your own home. So you need to discuss those things. The other things to not forget about is if one of you has an animal, who's going to take care of that animal as well as the damage that animal does to the property, both inside and out. To define who's paying for the utilities, the insurance, who gets the tax benefits, what percentage of the tax benefits do you get? So you really should develop a strong cohabitation property agreement before you go under contract. Highly recommend that. Highly recommend you work with a lawyer to make sure that it's agreed upon before you go under contract. So a question that you might have is, what about two people applying for the same loan, but you're not married, you're two friends? It's okay, you can still be on the same loan. Just know that the person with the lowest credit score is the credit score that they're going to use. Now, in some situations, one person might not have great credit, so the other person has to take on the loan themselves. That cohabitation agreement should be really clear on how that's defined, because if you're going to split the title, which is different than the loan, you want to make sure that you have some protection mechanism for paying you back for the down payment or for the responsibility of that loan. What's really important to note is if one of you takes out the loan and the other one is not on the loan, only one person is responsible to the loan. So if this other partner who is not on the loan does not make their payments, and you decide not to make your payment and you're only making half of it, it's not going to hurt their credit, it's going to hurt yours. So it's really important to understand that. You can do title in joint tenancy or tenants in common, but initially that loan and that initial purchase will be in just that one party's name. But if you are going to do one loan program with two different names, you can do that. You just realize that one of the lowest credit score is the one that the lender is going to use, and that could adjust your credit, or excuse me, your interest rate, because the credit score does affect the interest rate and therefore the payment amount. One last thing I would say to consider is if it is a rental property that you are purchasing or an income property that you're purchasing with your family member or another friend, make sure in that cohabitation agreement it defines who gets the tax write-offs and who gets what percentage of the rental income, and how the any kind of repairs will be divvied up, or how they will be split, who's going to pay for what. Just be really clear. It's a great way in this strong seller's market to get your foot in the door. So you can have a loan with two different parties that are not married. You can take title in different ways and different percentages. If it is a joint tenancy, of course, that has the right of survivorship and it must be 50-50, but you can do a tenants in common. So it's a great opportunity for some people who feel that they could do a cohabitation agreement. They could live together in that home well, and it's just a few years maybe to get enough equity to be able to get out on your own. But it's definitely something that we're seeing a lot more of in this market, and something to consider. If you found value in this information, if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to know more about the difference between an FHA loan and which is 3.5% down, and a conventional 3% down, the pros and cons, then check out this video next. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.